Really? This is what we're doing? Unbelievable. Alrighty then. This should be great. Alright. What is cracking? How the hell is everybody doing? Freaking missed you guys. It has been a very long time. Welcome in on a Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well. I am stressed. Listen, we're gonna get there. It's gonna be alright. But today, we are back in Rocky Top, and it is an absolutely gorgeous Monday. I can't even talk. It is an absolutely gorgeous morning, and not only that, but along with the tillage tool, we have some new toys. Uh-oh! We have new toys, people. This you guys might be seeing in another playthrough here soon. I love that truck. Shout out to Cooper. We have got to get some propane for this eventually. If I can find the right trailer. But on top of that, we now have a silo yard. Yeah, dude. Freaking gnarlies. So mainly this is going to help us out with lime, fungicide, all the good stuff. We have corn harvest, lots of corn. I know we've got some beans on the way. What the hell else do we have? We got a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch. But boy, oh boy, do we have quite a bit to get into, as it has been quite a bit of time since I have been on. And not only that, but it has also been quite a lot has happened. It has happened. You don't get that joke? Well, oh well. But with that said, let's start out with the fact of last Thursday. So I really tried to get on. I was really looking forward to an entire week of putting in the work, as I like to call it. Well, boy, oh boy, Mother Nature heard that and said, that ain't gonna happen. We had 7 tornadoes around me Thursday night. ended up losing power, the whole dig. Luckily, not much was lost from the game. I know there's a couple of things to talk about there. We got to talk about some new segments. But yeah, 7 tornadoes. I freaking mentioned I just want to put in some freaking work. And Mother Nature was like, nah, fam. You no work. And I'm like, okay. Well, that's cool. So that was fun. I'm gonna do my best not to make things as very personal, because I'm not very big on bringing I'm just not very big on bringing personal things to the air. But some things have gotten a little bit worse. Is really the best way that I can put it. Look, unfortunately, that means that this is going to be second or third, to be quite honest with you guys. And look, I don't say it because I want sympathy. I say it because I hope you guys understand. Because for so long, I have been very, very hard on myself. And well, first of all, let me back up and explain something just real quickly of why a lot of the times you're not going to see me do much with. Okay, now this one doesn't have it. Damn it! Well, shoot. All right. Anyway, the point is that I'm very, very hard on myself because I have a brain injury. I have a traumatic brain injury, and it happened a few years ago, and it changed my life. It changed who I was. It changed really a lot, and there are a lot of nights that when I come home from work, I have a splitting headache. And unfortunately, there's some nights I just can't get on here. The entire point is that, as I said before, I don't say it for sympathy. I say it because I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from. I love doing this YouTube thing. I wish I would have figured it out sooner, if I'm being quite honest with you. But the thing is that I consider myself different based on the fact of that I'm very, very honest. And in a lot of ways, I get too honest. So as I said before, some things have gotten worse. Again, personal things. I'm not one to bring personal things to the air, because I am the type that, you know what, I'm here to work. But look, it also does not change the fact of that I can't help but be anyone but me and be honest. And sometimes I am too honest. And you know what? I don't think that's a bad thing, but at the same time, I can't help but hold myself to a standard. Because the thing is that honestly, I want this. I want this more than anything in the world because I love this. I love doing this. I don't buy the notebooks. Hell, I haven't even shown you guys my whiteboard yet. Wait until you see this frickin' thing, first of all. Secondly, I want this as much as the next guy, if not more. Because I love doing this. You know, I spent years on social media. And you know what? I didn't get no help. I got some, but I certainly didn't get any guidance. I didn't get any help from people. But I can't help but be me. I can't help but be honest. I can't help but talk about things going on in my life. I can't help but talk about my personal experience. And when things go the hard way or the tough way, whatever way that you want to look at it, yeah, I can't help but speak from experience. Because I built this page on wanting to be different. Because I don't want to just connect with you guys on, oh, well, hey, let's farm today. No, I don't want to do that. No, I want to connect on a deeper level. I've said this before. I want to build a damn family with you guys. Period. And that's all there is to it. And I can't help but be honest. I can't help but talk about the things going on. And look, if you don't want to know where the hell I've been, fine, more power to you. But I'm just, a lot of times it gets me in trouble. But you know what? Very, very simply, I'd rather be honest than a liar. And we'll leave that right there. With that said, I want to jump right in. And we've got a lot. We've got quite a bit. And as soon as this broke, I was absolutely livid that I could not get on because of, well, it was basically hell with 7 tornadoes around me. It's ridiculous. Anyway, we are less than, well, we're about 24 hours out from our local teams kicking off for college football here. And this has been one of the wildest off seasons that I can remember in really my lifetime. Because of what's going on at MSU, the chaos at Michigan, and then, of course, the hype train that is the Lions. Well, Mel Tucker had, in my mind, some very, very disturbing comments regarding NIL. And man, oh man, was it, to be honest with you, it caught me off guard reading the comments of Mel Tucker basically saying to the effect, because you have to pay for it, the point is that it sounds as if Michigan State is at a crossroads with NIL. Now, as far as Allen, I'm not even going to get into that. The only thing that I will say is that if you do not have a football-first mentality, you shouldn't be there. Point blank. Now, as far as championship teams, etc., Mel Tucker talked about, well, I don't know how you can build a championship team with not being able to spend what the top two schools spend. And boy, did that comment stick in my head for quite a bit. Because what's interesting is that I listened to the interview, what are we now, 3 years ago? And I mean, the guy talked about, we're going to be out in front of this. Well, Mel, you're the CEO of the school. You should be with the money you're making, first and foremost. But secondly, on top of that, it is also the idea that, boy, I would like to think that there's something else there, because I don't know that another coach is going to come out and say that. Especially in an interview. Especially in a state where you have two college football teams that are in-state rivals. And man, it sure seems like that there's something more going on here with really the way that college football is going. To be quite honest with you. Well, then yesterday, Mel gave us another gem. And at first, I'll be quite honest, it sounded like coach speak. But see, here's where, well, I come in, quite frankly. It is the fact of, I'm a little bit cynical in a way, because of, well, quite frankly, I have passion. The entire point is that very, very simply, with this comment, I can see it as coach speak, but I can also see it as another problem or another disturbing comment. And Mel Tucker was asked about in-state rivalries because they're going to take on CMU, Central Michigan, Friday night. And, well, I just want to know if it's something or nothing to you. Because, man, this has been an interesting off season. So we started with the comments of NIL, right? Quote, "We'll never be good enough to take anyone for granted." Close quote. Quote, "We'll never be good enough to take anyone for granted." Close quote. Now again, as I said, I can see it as coach speak. But I don't know that this is the message to put out there before game day. To be quite honest with you, I really don't know that this is the message to put out there for game day. Or the day before. Well, not really, 48 hours before. To me, is this, and I'm asking, is that tempering expectations? Because, boy oh boy, you put this with the NIL comments, and, whoa buddy. Whoa buddy. It sure seems like well, let me ask you this. What am I missing here? What am I missing that, oh, well, we'll never be good enough to take anyone for granted. What am I missing with that comment? I mean, you're asked about in-state rivalries. You've been upset by CMU before. You're coming off of a 5-7 year. And man, oh man, I don't know if this is the comment to put out there. I really don't. So I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Alright, so let's hop into a little bit of talk about the gameplay here for a few minutes. So, obviously, as you guys have seen, we don't have, the house in the game currently. We are going to wait on that because what we are going to do is we are going to finish harvest up first, and then we are going to end up building the farm up. And I would assume either next episode or the following episode, we will be building the farm here on Humboldt, Tennessee. The other thing is that we're gonna start switching up the style a little bit as well. So I have not been able to explain this. I've been trying to figure out a way to, and I just haven't figured out a way. So work with me on this, and we will go from there. So we are going to be switching up our styles a little bit regarding each gameplay. Now, as I've said before, we fully plan on absolutely going back to FS19. And not much of that has been shown on video, so that's going to be a little bit of new content. But on top of that, what I mean by the style is that usually when we do get time throughout the week, TJ and myself will hop on and we tend to play for a little bit. So these are used daily, which is obviously why we can move time up and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is that very, very simply, we do want to incorporate a little bit more of some certain things. Trucking. Trucking is a big one. We do want to incorporate some more animals. We want to incorporate tillage, fertilizing, the entire plethora of things that you can do in-game. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but I do know that is on the table of what TJ and I have talked about to try and be better, quite frankly. I am always someone who believes you can always improve. And I am always looking for ways to improve. Not just our gameplay, but damn near everything. But again, and again, I say this because of the fact of not only being honest, but again, I do have to work with what I've got for right now. Specifically because we're at the end of the month, and I have bills to pay. But as far as it goes, look, we're trying to make a run with this thing, and that's what we're going to try and do. That's really, the entire deal. That is what we are going to try and do to go ahead and continually get better. And again, real life comes into play here as well because, well, TJ and I do have jobs. So, yeah, trust me, if I had the chance to be on here every single night, oh, I absolutely would. But I absolutely promise you, before the end of September, I fully plan on being on here for a week straight. I'm a person who keeps to. I am a person who keeps to his word, and it is absolutely going to happen. It is right now the balance of everything has kind of blocked that a little bit. But listen, we're going to get it all figured out, and when I do, look, I can't wait. It'll be a good time. And that's really where we're at as far as that goes. We should. I know we're going to be on a lot starting next week, which I'm going to talk about the second channel here in just a moment. But yeah, we're going to be on this channel quite a bit. So, we have figured out the problem with the second channel. And the second channel has to be verified. Well, son of a darn. It was great. Because of the fact that, well, it didn't work out real well. So, we are already way behind on that. So, what we have decided is that we are just going to move Farm Boys Bet over here. It's not something that primarily I want to do, but as I just said, we are already way behind, and, well, quite frankly, we need to get on it. So look, here's how it's going to work. As I've told you guys before, with, I believe it's Thursdays, TJ and I really focus on the prop bets, stuff like that. So, with that said, Thursday, we are going to go through and we are going to do a little bit of a prop bet review is what we're going to call it. And we're going to talk about, shout out Jim Costa, value for that. So we're going to talk about a little value on Thursday. On Friday, on here, when we are doing the live stream, we are going to create a segment specifically for the picks. We will give you our picks for the weekend, and we'll talk about the games. We'll give you guys some info, and we will go from there. Then, on top of that, as you guys know, I do try and get on sometimes during Saturdays. Well, we have a new segment for Saturdays that what we are going to do is we are going to be updating you guys on each game going on for that Saturday. So we're gonna have some that are gonna be like Saturday night, which will be like the 7 o'clock kick, and then sometimes it'll be the afternoon. So we're going to be putting in a lot of football. Now look, until we can get the other channel verified, because TJ has his channel, I have my channel, and for some reason it won't let us verify our phone number. The entire point is that very, very simply, we're way behind. And you know what? I'm a person who I can't stand being behind. So, we are going to bring Farm Boys Bet over here for the time being. By the way, shout out GHHG, I believe that's how you say it, for this sweet, sweet corn header. Favorite freaking corn header in the game. This thing is freaking awesome. It's ridiculous. So look, we're going to be bringing a little bit more football to the channel because, quite frankly, it's our favorite sport. And you know what? We're a football society. So, look, we are 1 week out. Next Thursday is game day. Monday, perhaps even Sunday. We'll see. I don't know. LSU, Florida State. We'll see. The point is that either Sunday or Monday, week 1 preview will hit your guys' phones right here on Farming and BS. It is going to be, I'm going to be flying solo that day because TJ has a bunch of stuff going on. So, we are going to fly solo on Monday or Sunday, and we are going to go ahead, we are going to get you guys that week 1 preview, and then it is going to be, what did we write down? That would be Wednesday. We're going to do a temp check. We're going to do a little bit of a temp check, check in, see how everybody's feeling. Thursday, we'll watch the game, and then it will be either Friday or that weekend. We'll give you guys a week 1 reaction, and then it's going to be wild. We are going to be all over the freaking place regarding Lions and college. And then obviously during the week, if we can work in an episode for college, if we can work in an episode for week weekly games, we absolutely will. And we're just gonna make it fun. So, I hate that I'm already behind. I hate that I cannot figure this out of why we cannot verify the damn channel. I am very upset. It's ridiculous. The entire point being is that, look, whether you like FS, whether you like football, if you like sports betting, this is going to be the channel for you. And plus, I think with bringing Farm Boys Bet over here, I think it's going to be a little bit easier than trying to work two channels. I'm not very good at multitasking. Let's just say that. And plus, I just think it would be, I don't know, it would just be goofy, in my opinion. So, I don't know. It's one of those things that, for me, is that I have put so much time into this channel that, man, you know what? Why not just put more time into it? So, that is what we are going to do. We are going to end up going ahead and really putting forth an effort into this channel. And as far as Farm Boys Bet, we're not going to do much gameplay with that. Gameplay is going to mainly stick to farming and BS. But look, Farm Boys Bet is just going to be a new segment. That's really all it's going to be. I hate that I have to do it that way, but you know what? Sometimes in life you just have to pivot, and you just got to go at it. And it's a lot like I said earlier. I've got a lot going on personally, but you know what? I'm still going to put my head down and go to friggin' work and put some time in for you guys. And you know what? Let's go. Let's freaking do it already. Alrighty. Let's get to this funny story before I get angry. Because I will fully admit to you, I know this is I know this is going to be an overreaction on my part, but you know what? I can't help it. So, did anybody see the JT rumor with the Miami Dolphins? Jim Irsay is a buffoon. And so are the Colts. This dude would rather, ship a orca whale than pay his running back. The Colts wanted Jalen Waddle from Miami for Jonathan Taylor. Unfreaking believable. Okay, so here is the deal. I am going to save the 53-man roster deal for Farm Boys Bet. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it, but we're going to do a little bit of double content there for you. After seeing how yesterday went, and I mean, obviously they signed the kid from the Jets, which I'm super excited about. But the entire point being is that, very, very simply, do you now have solidification on both regarding you need to bring in a wide receiver and you need to bring in a kicker? Now, I know they brought in Michael Badgley, but I'm going to say this, and guys, I know this is an overreaction, but absolutely enough with Michael Badgley. Enough. Riley Patterson made 30 of 35 last season. And apparently they don't like him because they were one of 5 teams shopping the market for a kicker looking to trade. Here's the point. What is the fatal flaw of this team? Because to me, it is now both kicker and wide receiver. Because let me remind you, close games are won by field goal. We saw that last year. Now look, I like Riley Patterson, but enough with Michael Badgley. You released him, or waived him, or whatever the hell you did, and then you brought him back. If you liked the guy enough, you wouldn't have gotten rid of him in the first place. Period. Is anybody out there vibing with me right now? I would rather go jump into the snow fully nude than have to deal with this. If you trusted the guy enough in game mode, you would not have gotten rid of him in the first place. What the F are we doing? It is the reason why I put it in the freaking title. Make the freaking moves, Brad. Now look, the kid they picked up yesterday from the Jets, I'm very excited about. I may or may not have him on my fantasy team. We'll go from there. What about Robbie Gould? I mean, yeah, the guy's 40, but if you don't like Riley Patterson, which I don't know why, we still have no reasoning as to why. I mean, Christ, Michael Badgley went to the Titans, went to the Commanders, and got released from there, just to come back here. Sweet Jesus. And I know Robbie Gould is being picky, but you know what? Get off your booty, Sheila. Let him rent a plane, the private jet for a weekend. Whatever it may be. If I'm Robbie Gould and I am looking at the Lions situation, I'm not that far from Chicago, which, by the way, what happened during the week in Chicago, boy oh boy, you just hate to see it. But if I'm Robbie Gould and I am looking at the fact of the Lions, right? Here's the deal. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games at the end of the season. 5 games at the end of the season. One that I think is basically going to be a home playoff game, or not a home playoff game, a road playoff game. The entire point being, you're kicking inside. You're in a dome. You're not that far from Chicago. We'll get Sheila. She can have you borrow the private jet. And we'll all work out. And as far as the wide receiver thing, you are one ankle twist away from your wide receiver room not being functional. If Amon-Ra goes down, you're effed. Completely and utterly. Now, week 10. You are at the Chargers. You're in the dome. Week, what would this be? 13, I believe it is. You are at New Orleans. In a dome. In fact, Caesar's Dome. Caesar's. Then, Christmas Eve, the playoff game to where I believe you will have this division wrapped up. You are at Minnesota in a dome. Then, the very next week, which I believe is New Year's Eve, you are the freaking Saturday night game in prime time at Dallas. And then you finish out the season at home versus Minnesota. If I am Robbie Gould, you know what? Go follow Sheila on Twitter. Or X, or whatever the hell it's called. If I'm going to put trust in a guy, you know what? It's going to be in a guy who's been there, who's done it. And for me, that's Robbie Gould. And as far as the wide receiver goes, I'm waiting until one of these surprise names that everybody keeps throwing out there to get cut. And then I'm going to bring the guy in. I'm going to get him in the fold. And we're just going to go from there. But to me, make the moves, Brad. Make the moves. To me, you have got to fix both. That's really where it begins and ends. Because otherwise, it's going to be, otherwise, and I hate saying this, But the people who scream those three little letters that, we all hate so much, they're going to have every single right to say it. And look, as far as killing it, as far as burying those three little letters, you know what? The goal has to be met this season. Period. If the goal is not met this season, you are going to be met with absolute disgust. And I don't mean me either. No, I mean from the people who, believed in this team. And oh, trust me, I'll be the first guy to tell you. I'll be the first one there. And listen, I know, very, very simply, Brad has still got time to make the moves. I understand that. But heading into week one, if you were playing, one of these weird teams, fine. But at that same boat, let me tell you, you're playing against Kansas City. And I don't know how jacked up they're going to be. I really don't. I don't know how that really started. Don't really care. My whole point would be is that that's the defending Super Bowl champs. And very, very simply, that's not going to be an easy task. So, get it together. And look, I'm fully prepared of what I'm going to deal with that Friday if they lose. Oh, I know exactly what we're going to be dealing with. But see, we're a fair channel. We invite everybody. But I'll tell you this, regardless of what happens in Kansas City, one of your most important game of the season, important games of the season is week 2. And I'll tell you right now, you are going to have to right the wrongs of last year. Okay. Let's get into Harbaugh a little bit, because, well, it's on brand, to be quite honest with you. But on top of that, it's more of the fact of that boy, this media in Detroit is just soft. Apparently, Jim Harbaugh is the pioneer now. Huh? Alrighty then. So, here's a quote from Jim Harbaugh. If this doesn't make your week, gee, I don't know what will. Because I gotta be honest with you, I find this pretty damn funny. Quote, it's not a slap on the wrist. It's more like a baseball back to the kneecaps. That was Harbs talking about his 3-game suspension. Boy, oh boy. A 3-game suspension is a baseball back to the kneecaps. Alrighty then. Okay. So PFF put this out, and I want to know if you guys agree with it. 3 bold predictions for your Detroit Lions. Number 1. Jahmyr Gibbs sees 70-plus targets as a rookie. This is really where it goes back to the wide receiver issue. Is that, guys, I can come on here and I can sell you Brad Holmes' vision of that, yeah, we don't think the same as Brad Holmes, and Brad Holmes doesn't think the same as us. Now, I can still say, make the moves, but here is the deal. Brad Holmes classified Jahmyr Gibbs as a weapon. Not a running back. A weapon. So hell yes, I could buy this. I mean, we heard from Dan Campbell. Monty and Gibbs will be on the field at the same time in some situations. That tells me Gibbs is going to have some receiving targets. Now, as far as 70, you know what? F it. I'm all in. I'm buying it. What about you guys? Jahmyr Gibbs sees 70-plus targets as a rookie. I'm buying it. What about you guys? Buy or sell? Number 2. Win the NFC North. All in. I've been saying it for months. This team is going to win the NFC North. So I would be buying that one. And number 3, offensive line rivals the Eagles as the best in the NFL. As much as I would love to buy this, I can't do it. I would love to buy this. I would. Do not get me wrong. Because very, very simply, you absolutely, in order to win in this league, you need an offensive line. Period. We're gonna have to do some damn logging. Jesus. What am I? Oh, I'm stuck on it. That's why. But to me, I do worry about Decker's toe. I do worry about the fact of some of the vets on this line, like Ragnow, aging. Not only that, but getting hurt. And the thing is that, quite honestly, I worry about the rookie as well. You know, because I look at it as your schedule gets pretty damn tough. Starting week 7. Week 7, you are at Baltimore. Then Halloween, the eve of Halloween, Monday, you are in prime time against the Raiders. And you can say what you want, but then you go into the bye week, and week 10, looking at the Chargers. Trust me, I had Chargers too, but still. Yo, don't get me wrong. There are some damn dogs on this offensive line. But guys, go back to last year. Remember when everybody freaked out because Ragnow wasn't practicing? Remember when everybody freaked out because Decker wasn't practicing? And this was like week 10 or 11? Week 13, you're at New Orleans. Now, I don't think they're going to be much, but there are some playmakers on that team. Denver. Again, I don't even buy into Denver because of, first of all, I hate Russ Wilson. But, very, very simply, looking at that team, you want to talk about A-game, Minnesota, Dallas. If the O-line can stay healthy, man, what an accomplishment that would be. Because I'll say it again. I said this a while ago. The first thing I'm looking at when it comes to the NFL draft, top 24 is offensive line. I am going to continue to build the trenches. Hey, by the way, for the Cardinals, tell me you want Caleb Williams without telling me, as they have released Colt McCoy. And not only that, but they may even have pick number 2 next year. Okay, so let's get back into Harbaugh here for a moment. Harbaugh wants revenue share. I'm going to read you the quote, and I'm going to just tell you how the hell I feel. Quote, I don't understand how the NCAA TV networks, conferences, and schools can continue to pull in millions off the efforts of college students across the country without sharing ever increasing revenue. Hey, Jim, do me a favor, boss. Not the time to talk. Not the time to talk. Oh, the kids! No, just full stop. You have a 3-game suspension going on, which really isn't even a suspension because you're going to be on the sidelines during practice, but yet you won't be on game day. On Saturdays, you'll be on the golf course. What a beautiful distraction, though. I mean, I'm reading articles about the fact of Jimmy being a pioneer and so on and so forth. Wait for it. Oh, little crack in the bubbly. We got that Celsius Arctic vibe. Caffeine engaged. But now, personally, what a beautiful distraction. What an amazing distraction. No, don't look over there. Look over here. What a joke. But no, in my opinion, not the time to talk. Everybody wants you to answer the questions about your suspension, which really even isn't a suspension, mind you. But people want to know. Oh, well, I can't talk about it. Well, that's great, Jim. Well, that's great. Yeah, now let's put a distraction out there. Great. By the way, I have a question that I just I want to understand. I need help from the listeners. First of all, I don't know how many of you own a home, let alone with a garage door on it. The point is, who the F leaves their garage door open in 2023 with literally no one home? How? It is 2023, people. If you own a home, please help me. Help me understand how on August 30 freaking 1st, how the F you leave the garage door open with no one home. How? It's 2023, people. What are we doing? How the F do you leave the garage door open? How? Somebody help me understand. It is just how? How the F do you leave the garage door open with no one home? How? It's unbelievable. It makes no freaking sense. It's just how? You know what I mean? Like honestly, how the F does that, how does that even work? How? It's unbelievable. It's ridiculous. Be careful out there, people. Come on! Don't leave the garage door open with no one home. Just take care of your home, please. Okay, let's get to this. This, quite frankly, I couldn't wait to talk about either. Because of the fact of that, very, very simply, I think after what we've saw this week, it's really only a matter of time. And if that's the case, I'll just go ahead and tell you. By the way, check out the ground. That looks trippy. That looks trippy. But cool. The point is that I will just go ahead and tell you that if that is the case, that if this is the case, then it's only a matter of time before it happens. And I'll be quite honest with you, it will be very, very scary And not only that, but MLB is going to need to do something about it. And the ballparks are going to have to do something about it. Which means you're going to have to spend some money, Chris. This comes by way of Peggy Kaczynski. As I reported on ESPN just now, the shooting at Guaranteed Rate Field during a White Sox game was indeed an accidental discharge by one of the women grazed by the bullet. She reportedly snuck the gun in past metal detectors, hiding it in the folds of her belly fat. Her belly fat. And very, very simply, it really sounds like the most Chicago thing I've ever heard. Quite frankly. Then, of course, you have the Rockies Braves. And sure enough, 3 fans snuck onto the field. One, in fact, hugged, I believe it was Ronald Acuna. And for what exactly? Oh, for what? So you can get a little clip on the internet? Honestly, it is so sickening. These people are nothing but pigs. You want me to tell you how the hell I really feel? Well, you know what? That's how the hell I really feel. These people are disgusting, attention-grabbing pigs. And you know what? It ought to be 30 days in jail for that type of shit. And miss me with, well, he just wanted to be with his favorite player. Miss me with that bull. Miss me with that. In the day and age that we live, you've got people sneaking up on the poor Amazon drivers and UPS drivers and FedEx drivers taking people's packages. And instead, you've got these attention-grabbing pigs because they want to go viral. They ought to spend a month in jail. You don't know what they're carrying. And I'll tell you this, it'll be a matter of time before we see something happen, and then you know what? And then the MLB will step up. So you know what? Just like the title says, make the move, Rob. Get off your little podcast and make the move. Those fans ought to be banned from every single stadium in the MLB. And miss me with your straw man argument of, well, what about college football when the fans rush the field? Two totally different situations. Those people are disgusting pigs. And you know what? In life, there is consequences to every effing move we make. And when you do stupid shit like that, period, you ought to be fried. A month in jail, you're banned from every effing stadium, period. I hate when I swear, but sweet mother of Christ, what the F are we doing? These people in their want for attention is disgusting. And boy, oh boy, I tell you what, this conversation would be a hell of a lot different if one of those players had a weapon on him. These people make me sick. And as I said before, 30 days in jail, and not only that, but they're on a blackout from the game. They get no airtime. None. Automatic button in the broadcast booth. Mics are cut off. The only way that you can hear the update is through the radio. And you know what? Even the radio has to have a plan. They get no coverage. Because the more coverage you give them, the more coverage they get. When they deserve none of it. But they deserve but to rot in a special place in hell. I wasn't hugged enough. Where? Boo-hoo! They ought to be banned from every single stadium. 3 effing people, 1 effing player. This conversation would be a hell of a lot different if we were talking about, hey, one of the fans had a knife. Hey, one of the fans had a gun. Not only that, but you can see in the video, the guy's trying to pull out his phone. His phone ought to be canceled. If you do that, your phone plan ought to be getting canceled. You ought to be charged in absolute agony with your bill. You want to pay monthly? Good, because you're going to. For the 30 days that your phone is off, you're going to pay for it. Every single fucking day. And the idea that these people think they can just get away with it is disturbing. I mean, Christ, you just seen that story of that FedEx lady who damn near had a heart attack because she was robbed of a fucking package for somebody, for the homeowner. It was like a tablet or something from Apple. You know how expensive those are? Not all of us have the money to buy that. So instead, you low-life losers go out and you try and rob somebody. Hey, here's an idea. Pull up your f***ing pants. Makes me sick. And you know what? The people who are these porch pirates, when you get caught, you ought to be absolutely fried. And you know what? For the people that you steal from, you ought to be paying them. You ought to have to pay when you steal from somebody. There are consequences in life. Period. But hey, that's okay. You got a f***ing BMW. Oh, you're just so cool, right? Hey, here's an idea. Blow it out your ass. You ought to pay for stealing. You piece of garbage. Period. These people are nothing but losers. Losers! Boo-hoo! You go on an MLB field, you get fried. Like the disgusting attention pig that you are. And it's the same damn thing for these porch pirates. You want to steal from somebody because you can't have nice things. Yet, sure seems like you can with you driving a BMW. The hell out of here with that BS. Oh, I can't have nice things even though I drive a BMW. No! Friggin' losers. They ought to be fried like some delicious bacon. I felt so bad for that poor lady. That lady is just trying to do her friggin' job, and she can't. Because she's too busy worrying about people that are losers trying to steal from people. Okay, that was fun. Glad I could rant there. Voice may sound a little bit different, but that's okay. We're doing good. But no, it's just I'm passionate about this shit. I am absolutely passionate about this because you know what? People have jobs to do. You need money to live. Period. And people like that, they ought to be fried like some delicious bacon. And you know what? Make the move, Rob. The MLB needs to come out in a stance together, all of the teams. And you know what? It is absolutely pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic that there has been no statement. It is absolutely pathetic that we absolutely are going to have signs of no guns. We are going to have extra security at games because of people and their attention-grabbing, disgusting bigotry. And yes, I know, bigotry is not a word. I made it up. But you know what? That's what those people are. They're pigs. It's the same damn thing with these porch pirates. They ought to be fried like some delicious bacon. You steal from somebody, I don't care how much it is, you have to pay it back. And not only that, but you're going to owe the homeowner. Period. So there you go. There is your rant of the day. But no, honestly, there's things I get fired up about, and that's one of them. I mean, that lady had to be 50, 60, maybe. I mean, that poor lady damn near had a heart attack. And it's just like, really? Like, this is what we're doing now? It's unbelievable. Alright. So enough of that. Let's get into the fantasy football. So, is fantasy dead? Now, to me, I don't think it is. Because I still do it every year. It's tradition. But is fantasy dead for you guys because of sports betting? I'm interested to hear because of the fact of that, like I said, I don't think it is for me necessarily because of the fact of that I still do it every year. But at the same time, I mean, I have to do the sports betting. You know, I do both. Obviously, not just because of what I do for a living, but a lot of the times in my own time. You know, especially because of even though I'm not very good at it, but betting baseball. That's what gets me through the summer. And, I mean, it's not an every week thing like it is with football, but at the same time, you know, so alright. Let that unload for a moment. And let's go ahead and pause for save. Okay, we're back. With that said, let's hop into this. Mainly because I'm very interested in the fact of what you guys believe on this one. That being, who are we overlooking? Is it the Packers? Or is it the Buckeyes? But, of course, me being me, I have to poke holes in, well, both. First of all, apparently OSU plans to go with a 2-quarterback system. I'm sure that'll work out very well. The point is that Kyle McCord is the starter. Okay, well, if he's the starter, he has not thrown a pass in college yet, of merit, in college, yet, as an Ohio State Buckeye. I don't know what the defense looks like. And all I remember is the last 2 years. 583. 583 yards of Michigan whooping that booty. And as far as the Packers, as you guys know, I don't put a lot of stock in the preseason. I don't put a lot of stock in the preseason. Never have, never will. Jordan Love, getting a lot of hype. And rightfully so. But let's also remember it's preseason. So if you're overlooking one, who would it be? To me, it's the Packers. Because I know what the Packers can do. And no, I don't mean the quarterback. No, I mean the defense. I mean the running game. And not only that, but I would have to check, but, you know, I know Bakhtiari is still on the offensive line. Pretty sure their offensive line is aging too. My whole point would be is that if we're overlooking the Packers, it's one thing. Or actually, it's two things. It's the defense, and it is the running game. I see they were the mystery team in on Jonathan Taylor, which doesn't make sense, but we'll leave that alone. But as far as it goes, for me, it's the Packers. So who is it for you? With the holes that I've poked in to each one, which one is it? And I'll go ahead and I'll say it again. If you're overlooking one, who would it be? Either the Packers or the Buckeyes. The Buckeyes plan on playing a 2 QB system. At least that's what it sounds like from what I've been reading, even though they named Kyle McCord the starter. Kyle McCord has not thrown a pass as a Ohio State Buckeye of merit yet. On top of that, I don't know what the defense looks like. What does the defense look like? And then, of course, with the Packers, it is the fact that Jordan Love has gotten quite a bit of love for his play in the preseason. Now, again, let's remember it's the preseason. But if there's two things that I know for a fact that have hurt, whether you're a Bear, a Viking, or a Lion, it is the defense and the running game. So, who would it be? And for me, it's the Packers. And I said exactly why. It's because of the running game and the defense. And that's really where it begins and ends for me. Let's hop over to the Tigers. Man, oh man. This is a very, very simple question. For me, anyway. So this would have been last week. And at first, I didn't really think anything of it. I really didn't, because it was just like, all right, that's cute. Somebody trying to, troll and start a rumor. Well, then it got a little bit more interesting because more people started getting on it. And people started texting me about it. And what I wanted to know was, what am I missing with the Erod speculation? Because maybe I'm the first to hear it, but I didn't know Erod had an injury. And I don't know that anybody else did. And what's even more ironic is that even the broadcast on both TV and radio pointed it out. And gee, I'd like to think that, I would like to think that, boy, that would have been reported, right? Or am I just missing something here? Because it sure sounds like, to me, it sounds like this could have been very, very serious. And obviously you can't tell by a jersey. But, I mean, man, Monroe pointing it out. Dapper Dan pointing it out. Sure sounds like something is going on there. But the thing is that, I searched all day, did not find anything from the team. Did not see anything from the PR team. And so, you just kind of wonder, whoa, what am I missing here? What am I missing that, what am I missing here? Maybe it's just me being me. Because it sure sounds like that if the TV here's my take on it. If the TV broadcast pointed it out, right? And then on top of that, the radio host on the radio broadcast pointed it out. To me, that's not something you're keeping in-house. And not only that, but on top of that, it's also the fact of that, with that said, it is also the idea of that you're also not going to, I don't know, have it just pointed out as if, it's pointed out for fun? And then I went back and I rewatched. And boy, oh boy, certainly looked like something was wrong there. So what am I missing with it? I gotta get them beans off the ground. This has got to be lined. Also got to be plowed first, then lined. Alrighty. So this, I believe, is the last field of corn. Actually, I do. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm actually very impressed with these I almost said corn headers. I'm all over the place today. With these corn textures. Let's take a look. These ones look like the ones from what is it? The hell's that map? Oh God. Why am I drawing a blank on this? I'm drawing a blank. But yeah, I just feel like with this E-Rod thing, I'm missing something here. Because to me, a story like that just doesn't go under the radar. Just doesn't. Then of course we hop back into the Lions before, well, I get angry again. Trust me, it's not gonna be like the first time. I'm just gonna shred this to pieces. Well, you know what? Actually, let me shred this to pieces first, then we'll get back into the Lions. Kali Muscle. Man, oh man. What a dope. So this dude has been known for his antics. And not very many people, I can't even talk tonight. But not very many people know I am a huge bodybuilding fan. And the thing is that, yeah, I go to the gym, yeah, I work out, but at that same time, I'm also not a bodybuilder. Well, Kali is known for his antics. And boy, oh boy, are they antics. And this is a rant I have done before, but I couldn't wait to do this for you too. Quote, "You're not natural if you drink protein powder." Close quote. Quote, "Bodybuilding is toxic." Close quote. Well, thanks, Kali. This comes from the same guy who did steroids, who was a bodybuilder, and has pulled off quite a few antics. Yet don't know that I'm taking advice from that guy. Look, here's the deal. I think in this day and age, I think a lot of people want to sell you this image, right? Trust me, if you drink protein powder, and no, protein powder is not bad for you. The thing is that you actually have to get the right brand, and you actually have to make sure it's tested. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a fan. The point is that very, very simply, no, protein powder is not bad for you, and no, drinking protein powder does not make you enhanced. And let me just tell you, a lot of your favorite influencers are enhanced. And I can tell you this, it's not by drinking protein powders. No, it's by gear. It's by other things. It's by steroids. Not protein powder. Oh, if you drink this powder, you're enhanced. What are you even talking about? I mean, wasn't there a scandal, like, what, a month ago? About this dude? Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna take advice from that. Especially knowing how many scandals there have been. Look, very, very simply, in this life, it is very, very simple. Just do you. Do you and F what everybody else thinks. That's the best way to live. Because if you're worried about how people are gonna, judge you, this, that, the other, you ain't gonna end up making it to your goal, man. That's all. And that's really all it comes down to. But not only that, but the thing is that a lot of times, if you do your own research and you actually do your own reading, you can formulate an opinion on your own of what's good for you and what's not. No, gear and steroids are bad for you. And a lot of them are not meant for humans. Yet somehow, we have a sport of it. Shocker. But no, it is, that was something quite funny, if I'm being honest with you. Okay, let's get back into the Lions. And normally, I just yawn at topics like this, quite frankly, because I find it funny. I also find it amusing, because in a lot of ways, it is this idea that, to me, this could have been said, I don't know, a longer time ago. But again, I'm also careful on how many times I repeat myself. And I will say it again. Because the question is that, well, what if they have rust? Okay, well then let's go back to the preseason. And let's play Jared Goff. Let's play our starters. And yet, if one of them got hurt, you'd bury this team right where they stand. And then you would say, well, that's the reason why our season didn't go right. Oh, well, this guy needs to be fired because of that. I can tell you right now, I bet there would be people that would be calling into the show saying Dan Campbell needs to be fired if any of our starters got hurt in preseason. And miss me with the straw man argument of, oh, well, it would just be for a drive. No, because I know how this conversation would go. Very, very simply, you would say, oh, well, just put them in for a drive. Okay. You put them in for a drive. Then what? Then what? What are you going to blame? You going to blame the joint practices? You going to blame the coach? You going to blame the GM? Look, and I know what I said earlier is an overreaction. I know it is. But at the very same time, I'm still going to fix both problems. And look, every team has flaws. And I'm sure something new would pop up if you fixed both. But the entire point is that very, very simply, it does not change the fact of that you have to make moves. This is a business. You have to make moves in order to be at the spot where this team is. Now, it also goes back to something that we've talked about before. There is a difference in opinion regarding joint practices, regarding preseason. And the thing is that very, very simply, people are pissed. Oh, well, what if they have rust? Well, boo-hoo. They're going to have to find a way to knock that rust out, and they're going to have to figure out a way to go ahead, and they're going to have to find a way to overcome it. Period. Oh yeah, I gotta pull this up too, because this came into conversation, and sure enough, it's, well, why I am the way I am. Alright, so this is a quote that I could not disagree with more. And this is also a quote from a media personality in town who actually believes this. And my thing is that you have to be, well, first of all, I'll give this person credit for having the balls to go on the air and say this. Because if you're going on the air and saying this, boy, I sure hope you're ready to be met with quite a bit of retaliation. Quote, you weren't going to have him for 6 weeks anyways. It's not like he is going to be missing actual meaningful games for this. One more time. You weren't going to have him for 6 weeks anyway. It's not like he is going to be missing actual meaningful games for this. Really, let's check the schedule. Week 1, Kansas City. Week 2, Seattle. Week 3, Atlanta. Week 4, Green Bay. Week 5, Carolina. Week 6, Tampa Bay. Week 7, Baltimore. Week 8, Monday night against Vegas. Bye week, week 10, the Chargers. Week 11, Chicago. Week 12, Green Bay. Week 13, New Orleans. Week 14, Chicago. Week 15, almost said November. Denver. Week 16, Minnesota. Week 17, Dallas. Week 18, Minnesota. By the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Week 5, 5 playoff teams you're playing against. Let me read you the quote in case if you forgot it. You weren't going to have him for 6 weeks anyways. It's not like he's going to be missing actual meaningful games for this. Really? So he's not going to be missing meaningful games for this. So for J-Mo's suspension, he's not going to be missing actual meaningful games for this? Actual meaningful games. Well, first of all, week 1, you're taking on the defending Super Bowl champs. Week 2 is a prove-it game. Week 2 is by far and away, besides Christmas Eve, one of the most important games of the year because you get to right the wrongs of last year. Not meaningful? Question mark? Hey, I know. How about week 3? You're taking on my pick in the South of being the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds. In a battle for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Not meaningful? Week 4. You find out you get your first look at Green Bay. Since the night you went in there and you whooped their But that's not a meaningful game? Hey, I know, week 5. You're taking on the kid who you just played in Bryce Young in the Carolina Panthers. DJ Chark against the Lions. Not meaningful? Question mark. Hey, I know, week 6. You're going to Tampa Bay in a must-win as they're breaking out the creamsicles. Baker Mayfield. Tampa, who still thinks they have a shot. But that's not a meaningful game. Week 7, you're at Baltimore. Ajabo and Hutchinson reunite against each other. Lamar versus Goff. Dobbins versus Gibbs. But not a meaningful game? Hey, I know. Week 8. Monday night against Vegas. Jimmy G takes on Jared Goff. Max Crosby taking on Aiden Hutchinson. Penei Sewell and Max Crosby. But hey, that's not going to be a meaningful game. Knowing that in that same realm of that weekend, we got Michigan and Michigan State. Oh, but that's okay. It's not meaningful. Then you have the bye week, week 9. Week 10, you're at the Chargers. Hey, I know. Goff versus Herbert. Austin Eckler versus Monty. But yet not actual meaning. It's not meaningful? Question mark? Hey, I know. How about the next game? Week 11. The Bears come to you. And? What, is that not meaningful? Gee, I don't know. I'd like to think it is because it's division play. Hey, then the second game. Oh, Thanksgiving. Or that Thanksgiving weekend. Oh, look. It's versus Green Bay. Green Bay is coming to you. And you mean to tell me that's not meaningful? Hey, I know, week 13. All the losers who cried over Jamal Williams. Oh my God, he's gone. Oh no, he's gone. Oh no. Jamal Williams versus Jahmyr Gibbs. Derek Carr versus Jared Goff. Gee, I don't know. I'd like to think that game has a little bit of meaning to it. But apparently not. Hey, I know. Let's go to week 14. You're at Chicago. Hey, I know. How about December 17th versus Denver? Gee, Russell Wilson taking on Jared Goff. Jerry Jeudy versus Amon-Ra. Hey, I know. Let's go to the game that I think is going to be your playoff game before the playoff game. Versus Minnesota, Christmas Eve. You mean to tell me that's not a meaningful game? Hey, I know, let's go to the next week. You're at Dallas, who was a playoff team. Gee, I don't know. CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra, Mozzie Smith, and Aiden reuniting against each other. Mozzie Smith versus Taylor Decker versus Penei Sewell. Man, must not be meaningful though. And then of course you finish out the season with Minnesota. Now again, I think you'll have the division wrapped up. But gee, it's the final game of the regular season. Oh, but I know. What? That's not going to have any meaning? What are we doing here? Oh, you knew he was going to be gone for 6 weeks. So now, he's not going to be back until week 7. Well, not only that, but he can't practice until week 6. So you mean to tell me that, okay, so he can practice week 6 but can't play until week 7. Okay, so here we go. At Baltimore, I don't think you're getting any production. You mean to tell me that's not a meaningful game? Hey, I know. Monday night at Ford Field, which I fully expect every Lions fan to be there because Ford Field is going to be a fucking snake pit this year. But Monday night against the Raiders. Not meaningful? You may get some production. Hey, I know. And then the bye week. Hey, I know. And then you're at the Chargers. I would like to think that week 10, week 11, and week 12, I would like to think you'd get some production out of JMO. But I don't see any production until week 10, week 11 maybe, depending on how hard he's working. But you mean to tell me Baltimore, Vegas, Chargers, Chicago, Green Bay, New Orleans. You mean to tell me that's not meaningful? You mean to tell me that's not a meaningful game? Go ahead, tell me. Go ahead and tell me none of those games are actually, quote, actually meaningful. Well, first of all, Baltimore is a playoff team. So there's that. Vegas was a playoff team. They have Max Crosby. They have Jimmy G. They have Hunter Renfrow, who I believe should be the wide receiver you go after. Then on top of that, the Chargers, Justin Herbert. Then on top of that, Chicago, DJ Moore, Justin Fields. Hey, I know. And then Green Bay. But not actually meaningful games, huh? Not actually meaningful games. Oh, okay. Look, I'll give the guy credit for having the balls to go ahead and go on the air and actually say that. To actually go on the air and actually say, Well, it's not like he's going to be missing actual meaningful games. I'll give the guy that. Like honestly, I will. I'll give the guy that. But if that's your take, I just want to let you know you're a moron. You are an absolute moron if you believe Week 7 at Baltimore, Week 8 versus Vegas at home, the circus that Vegas is. Then on top of that, bye week, Chargers, Chicago, Green Bay, New Orleans. If you mean to tell me that those are not actually meaningful games, you're a moron. That's all there is to it. Okay, so with that said, that is going to do it for this one. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I am loving this freaking map. Next freaking episode, we're going to build the farm. With that said, we may jump on during the weekend, give y'all a little bit of a video or a little bit of a stream, and then we will go from there. Then we will see you guys Monday. Be expecting a double dip. We are going to be doing a Farm Boys Bed episode, and then on top of that, we are also going to be doing a live stream. And then, of course, we'll see you guys Wednesday, right before game day, and then we'll react during the weekend. So with